Hi everyone, Soul Silver 17 here, and let me be clear, like usual, I do not own this picture. This is not, well, I don't own pictures, and this is not a paid video. And, well, let's just get through this like usual. If I'm sounding different at all, I'm gonna leave it in basically on my channel, basically community. But in this video, I was gonna work on the Jason Voorhees Deku, but I just can't at the moment. I was trying to think of a story so far for it, and then I was gonna make it today, and then something happened to my mother, and my mom passed away. I mean, she she was in stage 4 and stuff, and it just, she got into stage 4 after, I guess, I forgot if I even told you guys about it. She got better. They got rid of the cancer for a bit. They were just doing chemo. That was killing her. They stopped a month later. She was in the hospital. She was in there for some time. We found out she had stage 4. She was in basically foster home, and she passed away around 6 o'clock. So I'm just, I don't know, my mind isn't there, and I kind of already had some ideas where I was going to go with this, so I decided just to make this video. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make videos day by day now, because I'm probably gonna need to. Gonna try to work more hours at my job so I can help out my dad, but I'm gonna try to make more videos, and if I can't, then I'll try to make it. I've just been lazy, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna leave in in my community tab, just saying, explaining basically how I'm gonna try and make videos every day now, and basically I'm not going to, well, try to make it like a week go by. So yeah. So I'm gonna, explain everything in my community tab. I'm not giving up on this, making any YouTube videos. So yeah. So let's just get started. So, where we left off last time was basically, after basically they crossed the water, basically Naruto, Sasuke, Tazuna, Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi, Tazuna, and basically the one who's driving the boat, crossed the water. They didn't cross it yet. It's like they were getting near it, and yeah, Twilight. The realm of Twilight took over Wave Country. So, Naruto was trained by Tsunade. Kakashi basically had an argument with Minato, and yeah, that's what I remember. So, Naruto finally turned into his Twilight form. Instead of a wolf, it's a fox, 9 tails. So yeah. So, and basically Minna is out, and she's basically next to Naruto. So, while basically Naruto is, knocked out, he's knocked out for at least an hour, which he's slowly waking up. The fact is, he can't talk. He can only make, like, animal sounds and grunts and all that, so. But, I mean, I was thinking about it, and I thought, hey, he's the nine-tailed fox. And Kurama basically can talk without basically moving his mouth. So, why not? So yeah, we're gonna go with that. I was thinking that would be a stupid idea, but I was like, Kurama's doing it, and all the tail beasts do it. So, why not? So yeah, but it's only gonna be Pacific moments, not always. Anyways, so when Naruto's waking up, basically he's slowly opening his eyes and blinking. Minna's like, "Oh, you're awake. Good. I was wondering basically when you were gonna wake up. You have been out for an hour, which is amazing, since, well, Link basically was asleep all the way up till he got trapped in a castle's dungeon. Which Naruto's trying to say something, but he can't, and Minna's like, "Oh, yeah, you can't talk at all. Probably talk to animals, like Link told me once, but that's it." But maybe since basically you technically are based off the Nine Tails, you could talk eventually? Which Naruto just has a deadpan look, which Minna's like, "Don't give me that look." Which he basically slowly gets, well, up, basically, and he walks around and he's trying to get used to it, which Minna's kind of chuckling, which he just looks at her and basically has an annoyed look, but then he hears Kurama like, "Kid?" He's like, "Dad?" But he goes, "I can talk." "Oh wait, it's in my mind. Of course I can." He's like, "Yes. Your body's naturally adapting to basically your new form easily. Basically, you soon will be able to run after basically learning how to walk. I should also warn you, you also have a few different attacks." Which Naruto basically, be like, "Okay." Basically says, "Well, since basically I usually can use some type of other jutsus, but I never use, I technically am going to be teaching you my personal jutsus that do not require hand signs on these." Since I was basically amazed by, well, what I heard from basically the lore of, well, humans made for nine-tailed foxes. He goes, "Oh, so basically you made them based off of the Kitsune lore?" He goes, "Yes. Illusions I made, and basically Foxfire. So, I shall teach you those real quick. They should be pretty easy for you." So, while Naruto basically, is talking and, hearing the details, explanation, he learned how to run, basically in the form and stuff, and, well, got used to his new senses too. So, basically, Naruto, after learning basically the techniques, Naruto jumps in the air, basically fire goes around Naruto, and then he just shoots it in a random direction in the water, makes a steam path, and then basically Naruto well, kind of flares up some chakra, which then makes an illusion. Which Naruto basically nods to that and basically gets rid of it. Which Minna's like, "Okay, that is very useful. Very. And also cool." Which Naruto has a basically foxy smirk on his face. And then she basically goes on Naruto's back and you're like, "Alright then, come on, we gotta get going." Which he looks at her curiously, he's like, "What? You think I'm gonna float around? Besides, I did this a lot to Link." Which Naruto was just like thinking in his head, I don't know if I should just go along with this, or just try to say something to her. Which Kurama just sighs, we're like, "Don't even try it. Just go. We get this over and done with." Which, basically, Naruto just sighs, like, "Wait, can I even run on water?" Which, basically, Kurama's like, "Yes, you can. You can also use the Foxfire to basically keep yourself afloat." Which Naruto's like, "You made this multi-purpose, did you, Dad?" Which he says, to Kurama, which he just hears a chuckle. So yeah, so Naruto basically has like Foxfire going around his, paws, and then he just starts running across the water. So, when Naruto basically is, going towards the lake that was nearby Tazuna's house, he basically stops and basically gets a weird scent. Which Minna's like, "Wait, can it be?" As, for some, basically, they do hear something. Basically a voice nearby. Which Naruto's slowly walking towards the voice, which then he sees two people, Zabuza and Haku. Which Zabuza, "Haku, when do you think they're going to be here?" Which basically Haku would say, Lord Zabuza, I do not know, but the weird creatures that are in town, Gato basically doesn't know we should basically even try to stop the bridge builder. He's thinking about leaving Wave Country because of them. Which basically Zabuza's like, ugh, basically, idiot. I basically can get rid of them easily, but they seem a little bit strange. I don't know what they are, but still. Which basically Haku just nods, like, they don't seem to be, well, coming towards us. They may seem to basically stay in the village for some reason. Which Naruto's eyes widen, which basically meant like strange creatures. Oh no. No, not again. Which Naruto looks at her, she goes, okay, Naruto, we're about to face some Twilight enemies. I should also warn you, bats, other creatures that you basically would see normally in the realm of light are monstrous here. They seem like real monsters, which Naruto basically ponders that for a bit, but then just nods. So when they get into town, basically they see it's run down and stuff, but most of the people are basically scared and such, which basically Minna basically is like, okay, poverty because of Gato. That makes sense. As then they hear basically a rustle, which Naruto basically looks in the direction, basically goes towards basically it, but when basically he turns the corner, basically, he sees this weird creature holding one of Gato's men by the neck. And he's like, what are you? Which, basically, it's a black creature, basically, with no face, but it seems like there's something, like a circle going around it. Basically, if you look up Twilight enemies, I guess for Twilight Princess, I don't know I forgot what they're called. Actually, let me double check. Okay, so because I found the name of it, but basically has like these weird tendrils going down. It's towards its back, and then basically somewhere space has Minna just whispers, "Shadow Beast." Of course they're not. Wait, as basically she always wanted, they're stronger than before. How's that even possible? Which Naruto basically just, well, something basically in him telling him to fight this creature. Which, well, before anything happens, the Shadow Beast, well, kills basically the Gato's men and basically threw it to the side. As Naruto just starts growling, basically, and then it turns around, which Midna's just sighs, like, okay, Naruto, you have to listen to me on this. There's a few things that you have to know. You can attack them normally and stay onto them by biting them. And basically you can do damage to them easily. There's also basically a spin attack which you can do, and you can use your Foxfire. That's what I think it's called, and maybe your illusion techniques to distract it. And there's basically one attack where, well, I can basically help you, but basically you can also dash into multiple enemies at once. You understand me? Which basically Naruto will just nod. He's like, alright then, this is your first time facing one of these, so just don't get overconfident and try your best, alright? Which Naruto just growls at basically even more as the beast tries to run towards Naruto. Naruto runs towards it, and basically all of a sudden, basically, Foxfire starts basically going around Naruto, as then basically he lunges towards it, basically burn the creature and then bite into it. As, more Shadow Beasts are coming as Naruto just jumps off, basically make an illusion of a big giant snake that's attacking them, as they basically are, trying to fight against this. Naruto basically dodged the Shadow Beast that he was fighting, and so basically he jumps at it again, hitting it, basically jumps back, hits it, basically as the Shadow Beast finally realized it's just an illusion, as Naruto basically used Foxfire, basically projectiles to hit basically two of them, as basically the one that he was fighting does grab one of his tails, but then he just spins it thrown into the other two, as then he dashes towards it, which Midna basically activates what you would see in Twilight Princess the video game. A circle goes around, as then basically weird, basically orange electricity goes around the Shadow Beast, as then Naruto just, well, as Minna releases it, Naruto basically jumps forward and able to, well, attack basically all three of them at once. As basically he just, well, he growls at them thinking they're going to get back up, as then all of a sudden they just disappear and then turn to particles and then go up into the air. Which Naruto looks up and just in awe by this, and he goes like, how is that possible? Wait, I can talk? Which Minna's like, huh, I guess basically you can talk sometimes, huh? Which Naruto basically nods like, so, why were they here and what happened to this, well, to Wave Country? Basically, Minna just sighs and like, that means basically there's a, well, light spirit here. We had to try to find it, basically we had to try to get its light back. Which Naruto was like, what do you mean? She just sighs like, you'll understand later. Come on. I think I know where it is. So, Naruto just nods and they basically run out of the village. The fact is, though, basically have got those men with some civilians, basically were in the place, and they're like, it's dead. They're dead. I don't know how, but they're dead. Which one was like, those creatures, who killed them? Which the other guy basically that works for God, but like, I don't know, but we should really just stay in here. Gato basically isn't gonna like that we're basically helping you guys, but to be fair, this place basically went down the drain real quick. Besides Gato, I think basically those creatures are looking for him too. Maybe some of them got him? Which, and there was like, really? Which, the one that was looking at the one that told them about the Shadow Beasts are dead just shrugs and be like, we don't know. We're not gonna go looking yet. We gotta make sure everything's alright. Which, basically, the civilians nod. Which, basically, one of them is a kid. A kid as, Misters, why are you helping us? Are you working for that bad man? Which, the bandit's like, well, we usually would do something for money, but something like this? Which the one that's looking at the window just says, hey, we may be bandits, but something like this, we can't run from it. Sometimes we bandits have to stick together with villagers, because we're the only ones that can technically fight those things. Which, basically these villagers are just shocked by this. Which one of them basically would just whisper, like, do you think we could? Which everyone just nods no. We're not samurais, we're bandits. Samurai could probably take them on easily. But if we can basically slow them down, slow them down even a bit for them to get out of here and get to a new life, then it's worth it. Which then everyone just says, you're going soft, man. He goes, shut it. So, back to Naruto and Minna, they're running along basically it seems like a pathway, something weird's happening. Seems like a path is basically being formed, which Naruto's basically blinking, which flashes of memories of a town basically is coming to his mind with a tree and such, and basically many different memories, even a stream. Which Minna's like, what's wrong? Because and Naruto basically just says, memories? What's going on? Which basically her eyes wide, like, wait, do you think it's Link's memories are coming back to you from your past life? Which Naruto basically is like, maybe? I mean, I read the book, but still, could it be? Heck, even basically maybe my previous lives? Some information could come back to me. Which basically Kurama puts his 2 cents in and he goes like, maybe. Only a strong connection could bring them back. And through this journey, it may happen. So be prepared if you see some memories that you don't want. Which Naruto basically, has a basically determined look in his eyes and just nods. So the fact is, basically when they're running through the forest though, they basically, the town is basically from the the town that we find Link in. Wave Country is that town. As basically though, when Naruto basically was going through basically the forest, he came up to this like little area where there was like the trees grew higher and the basically another tree grew higher, but there was like a little ledge and well, like a door basically there in a tree, which Naruto's just eyes widening and then he just has a far off look. Basically, he sees someone there, looking down at him, waving. As I basically Mina's like, Link! Naruto! He's like, sorry. He goes, what's wrong? He's like, I just felt like someone was there, looking at me. When she goes, wait, looking at you? He was like, yeah, looking at me. Which, she basically flies up to because the fence is broken and such, so he could go up to it. But she's like, come on. He goes, I can't jump that high. Maybe with Chakra, he goes, this is a technique you can learn. You can basically jump towards me, basically just by, keeping your focus on me, alright? Which he nods and such, and he does so, and he basically jumps. And he lands. Which basically, he, just doesn't even say nothing. Which Minna is looking at the door, which she knows basically what this door is. She goes, this is Link's home. She goes up to the doorway, basically brushes her hand against it. And it's basically the wood's chipping and all that. Which some memories are coming back, which Naruto just goes in. And what he sees is, worn down, basically, boards, rickety old, basically, chairs. Some boards are even broken, going down to the cellar, that's broken too. And he just looks around and such, and it just basically hits him. Like, this is home. Which, he has a solemn look of basically nostalgia, as, well, basically, Kurama and Minna let him have this moment, because this was his past life's home. So, while Minna basically is flying around looking, she then notices something. Her eyes widen and she goes, this is one of Link's weapons, his bow and his hat. Which basically Naruto basically looks over and he sees it. Which he just says, amazed that the bow is still in quality. He doesn't even know how it's even possible. And the hat? He goes, which he then thinks, could have been, no, it could have been, that was just a memory, right? It's not like my past self left them here for me. Which Minna grabs them both and then they suddenly just disappear, which Minna says, you'll get them back when we basically revive this land and bring it back to the realm of light. Come on. Which Naruto nods and she gets on his back and they jump down and basically he runs off. Basically, someone appears there around the doorway leaning against it and he just chuckles. He goes, keep her safe, me. She's a very good person, a very good companion. It's your time to become the hero. Where everything begins all over again. As then basically this person fades. Basically, yeah, it was Twilight Link. Naruto's previous reincarnation. So, as Naruto was running towards basically the path that he keeps on following, he keeps remembering basically this path and how there's a lake that was nearby where basically Epona was there and the mayor's daughter that he knew very well. He just doesn't remember the name of her. So, he may basically have read it, but the name and the face don't match up to him. So basically, though, when Naruto basically gets towards, he sees basically there's two basically these two walls that basically look like there's a doorway. There used to be a gate, but it's broken down, very much, very much broken. He's just looking at it, and basically he's in shock. As then there's these little light particles are just basically there, which Naruto's walking forward. As then Minna basically flies over to it. He's like, "So they did get you." Let me just double check the name. Okay, as I said, Minna says, "So they did get you, or Dona," which basically they hear Link and Minna hear a voice saying, "Brave warrior, brave youth, please save me in this land. Return it back to light." Which basically Naruto's thinking, how could I do that? Which basically Midnight sighs alright, give us basically I usually called it basically grapevine for light energy to be inside of it. So that way it basically returns the light back to the spirits at full power. So I'm just gonna call it basically that, even though there's a name for it. I don't remember the name. I'm not gonna look it up, but I'm just gonna call it the grapevine. With light storing grapes in it. Yeah. So, anyways, as basically the Ordona does say, "Very well. Here, take this. This is an item to basically hold the light energy that basically have lost. These are basically light you will find from these insect. I even called them scarabs when I basically was younger when I played the game. So I'm calling them that. So basically light scarabs. So basically when Naruto sees it's just like a grapevine with just grapes on it, and he goes, so it's a grapevine that has grapes that store light in them to restore the power. Okay. Which basically, and then he basically, goes wait, scarab, bugs that basically that turn to light energy that, then he puts two and two together. He's like, oh, so I have to defeat the bugs, and then the light will be absorbed by the grapes, and then that way, then the spirit will get back to energy. Which he doesn't say out loud. He thought of all of that. So, as Minna basically goes back onto, Naruto's back, and she goes, "Don't worry, don't worry, Odana." But yeah, or Donna. We'll basically get you back in basically a full recovery, which he does. Well, basically, the Light Spirit says, "Thank you, oh Twilight. Person of Twilight. I fear for this land may be basically at ruins if you do not save it soon." Which then, Naruto just nods and runs off. So, Naruto is basically quickening his, pace, adding chakra to his body, and then, hold up. Yeah, adding chakra to his body, and then even adding basically using Foxfire to basically help him go faster. So, meanwhile, Midna is thinking, how will this shadow be stronger? I know basically Naruto should defeat them easily, but he's a nine-tailed fox and it's basically at his full power. Even though he's just been a fox, he's gonna get new abilities. I don't know basically what's gonna happen to the Shadow Beast, but this is gonna be very dangerous. Especially if we run into whoever it is that's the new pawn of Ganon. She remembers basically Zan, the pawn that Ganon used in the first game. I think, not the first game, the Twilight game. I think that's how you say his name, Zan. Give me a minute. Okay, I missed it. It was not E, not Zant. She remembers basically Zant, and she just sighs and be like, just like that time. This is way more different. The world basically of light has changed when I remember when I first arrived here. And then she basically remembers Hashirama and Mito, and met even Tobirama to an extent, and how basically everything from Hyrule has been gone. The Zorans have disappeared. Well, the Zorans, Gorons, and any other basically form of any residents of Twilight have disappeared from everything. She basically though had a theory that how the Zorans and Gorons have, well, evolved with the times and such, but maybe even traveled to a distant basically place. She doesn't know for sure. So, anyways, though, so basically she snaps out of it, out of her thoughts, and then basically she, decides to tell Naruto that she basically can help basically find. He has to use basically his sensing ability to, find them. Since basically he'll be able to see basically anything that's, invisible to his eye. Basically with his sense he'll be able to see it, which Naruto does not. And basically we don't have to basically go around and say basically how long it takes, but, actually we don't have to go around and say where he finds them, but it does take quite a while. In a sense, though, after he basically defeats the last light scarab and the grape absorbs it, basically all of a sudden, I don't know how they do this in the game, but I'm not gonna say he teleports, but he just travels back to, the light spirit, or Doron. So as soon as they get there, the grape basically will float up and then go towards basically where the light spirit, the light is it go into the water and such. As when that happens, all of a sudden, basically the rocks nearby start glowing. As then, basically for some reason that area, basically the cloud gets dark. And then, boom, everything goes back to normal. Twilight basically has disappeared. And now basically Naruto is back to normal, but he has the hat on basically, and for some reason his basically shinobi plates on his hat. Nah, just kidding. No, his shinobi basically headband's on his right arm. Right arm muscle. And the hat's on him. Basically, he even has the bow on his back, which he's like, huh? Wait, I'm back to normal? And basically, he kind of basically sees his, basically, he basically has some modifications to his outfit, even though basically he wore just black shirt, green tunic, black pants, shinobi boots, basically Anbu type guards, and basically no gloves and such. He does still have the black shirt, basically green tunic, the black pants, the boots, but basically now there's basically guards on his basically legs, and it seems like now he has basically gloves on his hand. Basically, and the guards have these weird markings on it. He's like, huh? Which basically all of a sudden, he basically notices that the sky is still dark in this area. As then all of a sudden, the fourth life spirit, or Donna basically appears. He goes, "Oh brave warrior, oh brave youth, you have saved me basically from my, peril, and you have brought light back to this, area. I thank thee for what you have done." Which Naruto basically just looks at him and just nods. It was he basically then says, "You who are basically the descendant of Link, I must ask you to save my other brethren. The other light spirits, for what they may have suffered the same fate." Which basically Naruto's clenches fist, "Do you know who's done this?" Which he goes, "I do not know per se, but the one who had done this wore a mask, for he basically command the shadow beast that basically changed me into, change me into that state and turn this land into twilight. Which Naruto just sighs, which Minna basically like, so he's still alive? Which he basically, Odara looks at basically Minna and he just nods. He was like, you must defeat him. By any means if necessary. Which Naruto just looks at him, basically thinking about it, but he knows that he's not wrong. A threat like this sometimes needs to be put down. So he just sighs. And so Odara says, as a thank for basically saving me, I shall enhance your bow that you have found. Which Naruto's eyes widen include Minna's, which basically Dana basically just has his light or glow in between his horns, as in it just basically hits the basically bow that was on Link's back, as in it basically starts glowing. As when it stops, basically the bow seems, even though it looked perfectly new, it seems to be in a better shape, and now it seems basically Naruto, there's like basically where Naruto basically can aim, and it seems basically different than normal, which Odana says that I do not know if you have ever used a bow, but I have enhanced it to basically where it will help you in your journey. There are things that this bow can do by shining a light to help you basically with your aim if necessary. And basically certain type of arrows, or, well, a certain arrow basically when you put into it, into basically the bow, which Naruto's like, what do you mean by into the bow? Which he says, the bow will automatically fire for you. So he's like, huh? Is that kind of cheating? Which Minna's like, this ain't like, I don't know, basically like a crossbow that can just rapid fire. He goes, yes, but you do not look like someone who basically uses a bow often. This is only a learning, basically, type training for you. You must basically use these skills, basically, after you learn how to use the bow on your own. It will not last. So Naruto's eyes widen. He goes like, so basically, he put a type of magic on it, so that way I can learn how to use the bow. And if I basically am in mid-combat, it will auto-fire it for me. So he goes, now, brave, youth, go. And basically protect this realm that, protect the basically realm that used to be Hyrule. As basically he disappears. As Naruto just basically, boots are in the water and just looking at where Odana was and just sighs like, let's go, Minna. Which Minna just nods and basically turns into, shadow form and goes into Naruto's shadow. As Naruto basically just dashes off. And unknowingly, Naruto basically's hair seems not spiky no more. Seems flattened and, longer. Now, basically, Naruto's ears are pointy. As Naruto runs by, basically, Link's old home, he basically had one last look at while passing, and basically, he just, had a faint, basically, sad smile, and runs off. He basically goes past where the he basically just runs off basically towards basically the water country. Not water country. Wave country. There we go. Basically, it's a town. And when he does get there, he notices that people are still hiding such. So he just makes that quick look around. He just dashes off as quickly as possible so no one would see him. Naruto basically notices though, he seems to be a lot more, limber. Limber? Yeah, limber. I said limber. Limber than usual. Which Kurama goes, since you basically went to basically your fox form, some things may have changed in you. So you may be a lot more faster or stronger, we'll have to see. So yeah, so Naruto basically gets past Tazuna and Haku easily by going basically past them. And, well, he basically gets to the other side where the water is, as basically he sees the boat guy coming back with Tazuna, Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura, which Naruto's just waving towards them. Which basically, when they get there, Kakashi's like, Naruto, what took you so long? He goes, it's a long story, but I'll tell you when we have time. Come on, we gotta get going. Which basically, when they, when Naruto starts to go, which basically Sasuke like, Dobi, what's wrong with your ears? Which he's like, huh? Which Tazuna's like, I'm not the only one seeing that, right? His hair has even changed too, and what's with the green hat? Which, basically, Kakashi's like, Naruto? So he basically walks over to the water, he basically sees his hair is a little bit longer and not spiky, and then basically he sees his ears. He's like, they're pointy. Which basically Minna says, they're like elf ears. Which he kind of looks at and just smirks at it. He goes like, I like it. For some reason it suits me. Which basically even notices that his hair is not the only thing that basically is, well, different. Or his ears. He seems to be looking less like Minato, actually. And he basically has a smirk towards that. He was like, oh, the better I don't look like Minato, the more I'll be happy. Which Kurama just snickers and be like, you really hate that man. He was like, he abandoned me just because my sister had the chakra of the Nine Tails, aka you. You really think I'm gonna care for him? He goes, well, Kurama basically says, touche. So, after basically he does a quick inspection, he was like, I don't know what happened. Well, I do, but my other features seems to be a little bit different. Come on, we gotta get going though. I have a mission to complete. But Naruto basically takes out his sword and he goes, also, we have enemy nins up ahead. One guy who has no eyebrows and his name is Zabuza. The other one basically is in a hunter nin outfit, but they're basically the accomplice of Zabuza. Their name is Haku. I don't know anything other than anything about their skills, but I have a feeling basically the Zabuza guy is, well, dangerous. Which Kakashi's eyes, was looking at Naruto, and Naruto looks back, he sees his eyes widen, and then basically, though, when they basically got serious, he nods. He was like, I'll face basically Zabuza. You and basically Sakura and Sasuke will protect Tazuna. Do you know where they are at the moment, though? He goes, yeah. There's a lake basically up ahead. Not that far from here. If we go towards it, they'll be waiting for an ambush there. So, basically, Kakashi's basically thinking as Naruto goes like, I think I have a plan. Which, basically, Kakashi's like, oh? Then he notices the boas that's on Naruto's back, but he's not saying nothing. Naruto's like, yeah, this may sound like a stretch, but as we go to where Naruto and the whole entire group of, well, Tazuna, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi are just basically walking forward. So, what happens is that everything would go similar to canon, but in this case, they weren't fast enough before they get their heads chopped. As Azazel smirks about it, he was like, it's a shame that I wasn't, as then they hear poof. When they look, basically they just see, well, no one there besides just smoke, which always, well, basically that caught Zabuza off guard, and he thinks, wait, where though? As then he basically, hears the sound of whooshing kunais. As he looks, basically, he sees multiple kunais come after him, and he tries to dodge, but then a few of them nicked him, and one of them basically impaled him in his, well, hit him in the leg. Not impaled, but hit him in the leg. Which, basically, he grunts out in pain, which all of a sudden they get down from the trees, which basically Kakashi's like, Nice job, well, not Sasuke. Nice job, Naruto, come up with the plan. Which Naruto is basically in a serious mode as, well, Zabuza gets up and gets up after he takes out the kunai from his leg. He goes like, ah, you got me good, brats. But you're not going to be able to defeat me. Which basically Kakashi brings out the Sharingan and reveals that basically he was a Kakashi of the Sharingan, a man who knows 1,000 jutsus, or over 1,000 jutsus. You know, yada yada yada, that sort of stuff. So, the fact is, basically, Zabuza would try to get to basically the water to make the hit and miss, but since basically he was hit by a kunai in his leg, he can't really put much pressure on that. So instead of the hit and miss jutsu, basically seeing Kakashi and basically Zabuza are fighting, which what happens is very simple. The fight would go similar to canon, just Kakashi blocking basically with his kunais while Zabuza trying to hit him with the executioner sword, and basically, Zabuza would kick Kakashi away, as then Zabuza basically would hold up the executioner sword. Yes, I am doing this because I would like. Okay, thing is, let me just tell you this. I was thinking, what can I make it way more interesting? The Master Sword has been split off into pieces. Each piece for the Master Sword is one of the 7 basically swordsman's blades. But I thought that would be an interesting idea, but I'm not gonna really go for it. It's just basically they can use the techniques. Well, the techniques basically like the Skyward Slash, but it's chakra. Which Naruto's eyes widen, and he then basically he gets serious. Basically, they're in formation. So when Zabuza basically slashed down and basically sends out basically a wave of chakra towards Kakashi, Naruto runs forward, basically covering his sword in chakra, basically, as then he just slices right through basically Zabuza's chakra. Since Naruto's chakra is, the 9 tails basically just 8 worth tails of it, it's very potent and dangerous. As Naruto goes like, how do you know that technique? Which he was like, huh? Do you mean the chakra slash? Which Naruto thinks to himself that's an imitation of basically the Skyward Slash. Wait, how do I even know that technique? It doesn't matter. So, Naruto basically lifts up his sword towards Zabuza. He goes like, he basically would say to Kakashi, he goes like, you cannot hand him sensei. Seems basically he got a little bit rusty. Which Kakashi just will look at Naruto. He's like, you're only getting. Do you really think you can take him on? He goes, Naruto would just look at him and smirk. He goes like, gotta trust me, Kakashi. Besides, I want to test out my skills against basically someone of his caliber against me. I have to see basically where I stand. Which Zabuza will look at Naruto, basically can tell the boy's serious. And that blade seems to be very, it looks like basically a normal blade, but still. He never saw basically a blade that has 2 edges against it, instead of just a ninjato or something. But for some reason, he can tell the kid basically is serious. There's something, basically that's telling Zabuza that he should not take this kid lightly. Like a hidden, edge in the boy's eyes is there. Which Zabuza basically is looking at Naruto and is like, so you want to fight me, huh? Fine. Don't blame me if you die, brat. Which Naruto basically just looks at him and just nods. So, Kakashi will get back, bring down his Sharingan, bring down his headband over the Sharingan, and pray that Naruto isn't going to get into anything dangerous. Which basically, Naruto and basically Zabuza are looking at each other as, Naruto basically dashes forwards. Zabuza then dashed forward too, as both of them meet and clash their blades in basically the center. As Naruto basically does not have the strength by using chakra to enhance his strength, while Zabuza has basically the might of a sword, basically bigger sword, basically heavier, and also the strength basically to push back Naruto. He's impressed that the kid basically keeping his own against him. As then basically, they back away. They jump back as Zabuza goes like, already impressed me. Not many people can do that. He goes, what is your name? He was like, I'll tell you after basically I nearly beat you, or when I cut you. Which Zabuza just scoffs at that. So, they basically start to sword clash each other. Naruto basically is able to try to hit Zabuza while Zabuza is blocking, as basically he tries to cut Naruto's head off or just cut him while Naruto's dodging. Basically, this clash goes on for a few minutes until Naruto basically dodges and slash against Zabuza's arm, making a cut into it. As Naruto's able to jump back and basically slide away, he goes, "Alright, since I cut you, I'll tell you my name. It's Link Uzumaki Senju." Which Zabuza basically stops and looks at him and goes like, Uzumaki Senju? And Link? That's a weird name. Well, the Link part. But Senju? There's no other Senjus around besides Tsunade Senju. Which Naruto goes, I'm the adopted son. Which Zabuza just blinks. And then basically, he basically would think to himself, okay, then that explains why he was able to basically not keep up, be able to basically keep on that clash with me. He was enhancing himself with chakra. As Naruto basically just takes a deep breath in and then out. As then basically all of a sudden, blue fire starts to erupt from the blade. And basically starts to go around Naruto's body a bit. He goes, which he didn't even know he can even do this, but he just thinks, he goes, Dad? Which Kurama just blinked and he was like, yes. He was like, is it because of your chakra I'm still able to do this? Which basically Kurama's like, maybe. But I did teach you them, and I taught you how to basically summon them. So I guess it doesn't matter which form you are in. Just make me proud. Which Naruto just nods, which is always just like, what the? He goes, use any ninjutsu you want in this fight right now. We're not samurais, we're ninjas. But, he basically looking at him, he was like, I do have some honor. So, I want you to use your strongest technique and I'll cut right through it. Which Zabuza just looks at him and tells the kid's basically being serious. Which he basically obliged. He's basically doing hand signs rapid succession. And, it's not... I don't think the water dragon jutsu is his strongest. It's that one that would basically sweep him away by Kakashi when he does it. But honestly, he pumps basically half his chakra into this water dragon jutsu. Basically, as Naruto looks at it, the flames basically on the sword's getting basically hotter, as then he dashes forward, which basically looks like a trail of fire is leaving behind him. As then he just basically slashes right towards the water dragon. Basically, since the foxfire is technically blue, and the chakra basically for it to be made is very high, basically has to have a high affinity with it, which technically made Naruto have all 5 elemental all elements, and they're all high. Technically not really, but second or third, his element is high, his fire, but still, foxfire is totally different from that, but still, pretty hot. So, he basically, with the dose of chakra he put into it to make it stronger and hotter, and he cuts basically right through the fire, the water dragon, but it does leave steam as then Naruto basically, dashes forwards as Zabuza could not believe it. He basically just sees basically a trail of blue fire coming towards him as he basically blocks with his executioner blade as Naruto's sword clashes with him, and he sees basically the metal from his executioner blade is starting to basically melt, and the sword of Naruto is starting to go a little bit through it. He basically decides to basically jump away towards Naruto, while basically when he lands, doing basically the chakra slice again as Naruto basically chakra slice wave, or chakra wave, whatever. My brain just kind of just went a bit. Basically, as Naruto basically just copies basically Zabuza, but in this case, the sword starts to glow a bit. Seems like basically light going towards that, going down the sword is happening, which Zabuza doesn't understand what's going on. But it doesn't matter until his sword's charged. He basically strikes basically downwards, as Naruto does the same. Both attacks clash, but since Naruto basically's attack would be a little bit stronger than Zabuza's, because it's technically not a cheap copy, it would go through Zabuza's attack and hit him, basically making a cut down his chest and send him flying, which Kakashi basically throws kunais, pinning Zabuza to the tree, as Naruto basically would go towards Zabuza to finish him off, which then the whole entire basically Zenbon and Zabuza's neck would happen. But unlike when Haku appears, Naruto basically doesn't, looks at him and, would try to attack. Haku will make an ice mirror and disappear, which Naruto assigns the fire, disappears around him, and the sword basically is, has no fire. Then he sheaths it. Then he basically says to himself, "How is my sword not basically melting or, getting hot? I know basically, I think I made a chakra metal, yeah." Which basically Krama would say, Foxfire basically would, is hot and basically can burn almost for anything. But remember, your sword basically is a chakra metal sword. Well, that's just in case I said it, it was a chakra metal sword. If not, then basically it would be because of, you put your basically chakra around the sword and basically it lights, and then when he adds a little bit more, it basically makes the foxfire. So that's why the sword's perfectly fine. If it's basically made of chakra metal, then, it's just because basically it's made of it and basically you use your chakra into the sword. So, yeah. Okay. I can go a little bit more. I'm getting tired. But yeah, so anyways. So, after that, he gets back. Kakashi's like, "Well done, Naruto. But how did you do that weird attack that looked like Zabuza's?" Naruto basically just thinks about it and says, "It's complicated. I just remember I could do it." Which, that just makes everyone blinks, but Takashi's like, "Well, anyways, let's get you back to your house, Tazuna, and then we can talk about basically you, Naruto, later." Which Naruto would not. So they would get to Tazuna's home, and, everything from there would kind of go exactly the same, but the only difference is this. At night, Kakashi wanted to know basically why basically there was this weird glowing light basically over Wave Country. Sorry. And basically how Naruto knew what it was and that he had to go in there alone. So, Naruto just sighs and tells him the truth. In which Sasuke does not believe it and asks, "Why would they basically have you, a dope, basically try to save the world?" Which Naruto just shrugs me like, "I don't know. I was basically reborn basically as basically the old hero Twilight." Which Sakura can't believe it. Which then Naruto's like, "Yeah, just say it. Basically, you could do a way better job than me. Look, it doesn't matter, Sasuke. The fact is, I was chosen, and basically, I'm probably going to go on a lot of missions by myself in the future." Which Kakashi's been silent and be like, "Are you sure about this, Naruto?" Which he was like, "Yep, I'm the only one that can do it. Besides, these Twilight Zone areas are, This one seemed to be calm because there was not really any monsters around or bats, or well, any creatures that would turn into basically a Twilight version of them, but that's monstrous. So, I'm just basically saying that. Which basically Kakashi would, nod slowly. He was like, is there anything else we should know? Which Naruto's like, well, I mean, technically speaking, I mean, it's not, technically speaking, that it's a kind of like a good secret for him to have. You say it's a secret trump card. So basically, Kakashi just sighs, or like, only you. Which Naruto just nods to that, be like, yep. So, because of Naruto trained with basically Tsunade and chakra control, he doesn't need to do tree walking or water walking. But he still does it anyway to improve on his chakra, and he does make shadow clones to help with this. So yeah. So, I want to say the only difference is when Inari does, basically say something about how you don't know basically what suffering's like, Naruto doesn't lose it, but he does glare at him and tell him basically what he's been through, and that's saying he's lucky to even have a mother and father. And then he leaves. So, because of that, basically Sakura asked Kakashi, was that even the truth? Which he would say some of it was. And some of it wasn't even basically the whole truth. It was just sugar-coated, which that makes Sakura shocked and basically kind of worried about for Naruto. And, well, Sasuke just doesn't care. But he is angry that the dope basically has power that he doesn't. He wants to try to take that away from him, but eh. So anyways. So, technically Naruto goes train, and he's basically using his shadow clones to help him. And, well, the results are pretty good. But he did tucker himself out, which Kakashi would find and let him sleep. And this is where I'm going to leave it off, everyone. Hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are. And, bye, everyone.